Remember I said I had a week to get Bugsy ready for his big car show? Well, I immediately came down with a cold and I kind of injured my leg shoveling that snow. So now we have a day. Hello YouTubes. So we had a week, now we have a day. We're going to have to lower our expectations of what we can get done. At least the bumpers are done. They were a bit of an eyesore and they've remained rust free, both the front and the back, and all that metal work that I cleaned up down there has remained rust free as well. So that's good. There are some areas I'm not going to be able to get done today. Remember, I really wanted these quarter windows in, the wee flippy out ones. I'm not going to be able to get them done because that's too much work for one day. But I do want to take care of all this obvious and highly visible rusty nonsense, which is pretty easy to just grind that down and recover. And again, areas around there and this bit down here, not a huge amount. So I'm going to get that done while it's absolutely gorgeous out. It's a bit cold, but once I roll Bugsy out into the sun, paint will dry fairly quickly. And there's a couple of mechanical issues I have to take care of. I mentioned before that the rear muffler was kind of vibrating. Well, it's actually almost falling off. One of the clamps is loosened off, so I need to get underneath, tighten that up. Also bought a new fuel filter that will hopefully save me some gasoline. Anyway, let's get it ground down, painted, step one. Bright. You know what, as much as I love the bare metal look, this is starting to become a bit of a chore. So I think later this year we'll seriously look into getting some actual paint on this car. Anyway, what's next? Fuel filter. Not sure if we're best going in from this side or the other side, so let us investigate. Fuel filter sits there. Both sides, because I've got a screw, a clamp down this side and then the other one I'll reach at the other side. So let's just make sure the one I've got to replace it is the right one. It should be the same one. I think it's the same place I got it from. It's just a Wix metal filter, not going for that glass one because everyone told me my car would catch fire and I would die. So this little kit's pretty good. Comes with your filter, a couple of new bits of hose, because that's good because they sometimes perish in some of these clamps. Right, let's just make sure it's the right one. I'm sure it will be the right one. It's got a little arrow pointing for the direction of the flow, as you can see. That way, so it would sit that way. Oh, I'm sure it's the same. Right, let me throw that on. I'm sure you've all seen a fuel filter getting stuck on before, and then we'll get on with the exhaust. As usual, a 5-minute job turned into a 30-minute job. I just didn't have access on the bottom hose to ram that filter on, so I had to get the alternator out the way, so I had to disconnect the battery because this likes to spark at me, this connection here, so that was disconnected. And then to move this out the way I had to remove this, which is a really bad design. This bolt here that holds on this adjusting bracket here, it goes right through the intake manifold right next to the water chamber, so I've got a little drip of water. Hopefully now that I put that back on it's not going to leak, but potential can of worms there. So if it starts leaking, remind me, it's probably because of that bolt there. Stupid design. Anyway, we're on now, so let's move on to the exhaust. Let's see what we're dealing with under here. Yeah, the clamp's tight, but as you can see, there's a gap there. So I might double clamp this one, because you can see it's a bit shiggly. So I will probably move that clamp up that a little bit and put another clamp here just to crimp that down and make sure it's not banging against anything or leaking. Hopefully that won't take me too long. Alright, exhaust is reconfigured. Before I take it off the jack stands, let's make sure it doesn't bang and leak and stuff. It'll be a bit rough. Once it gets warmed up in the cold weather, it runs great, but getting started is a wee bit dodgy. Not hearing any banging. Sounds quieter as well, which makes sense because there was a massive leak in it. Right, I am going to switch it off, take it off the jack stands, restart it, make sure I don't have any fuel leaks or water leaks, and then we'll move on to the next thing. My leg's still broken. It's not broken, but it's pretty sore. Making a weird noise. Listen to this. It's like a tiny tap dancer. Oh, I also just noticed this wire has been getting melted, which is my I can't remember. Oil maybe? Water pressure? Water temperature sensor? Yeah, I need to check that. Better switch it off for now. That was awkward. I'm amazed that water temperature sensor was still working. Can't believe I didn't notice that. I actually think the wire's okay and it's just the heat protective sleeve that's melted. Let me check that actually. Be able to tell if the temperature sensor's working just by putting ignition on. Which one was it? That one there. Oh, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's moving, but I don't know if it was up to temperature yet. Anyway, I better check that and maybe rewire it. I've been running for about 15 minutes. Temperature gauge is working fine. I still do have a bit of a clickety clack. quite faint now, which makes me think it's possibly a sticky tappet and it just needs a bit of oil circulation. I did check the oil and it's perfectly clean, really nice oil, so maybe it's just lack of use. It's not as loud as it was before, but I tell you what, leave a comment if you think it is sticky tappet or an exhaust leak maybe. I've still got tomorrow morning to repair it if it needs be, but I'll tell you what we'll do for now. Let's go for a wee drive. Need some gasoline anyway, and then if I make it back we should be good for tomorrow, right? I mean, it's only an hour's drive on a highway, nothing to worry about. All running fine. Let's check for leaks and noises. No drips. Let's see how that clickety clack noise is coming along. I can still hear it a little bit, so I might need to do some rocker adjustment on this side. You can just hear it clicking a little bit there. Or maybe it's just an exhaust leak. Anyway, no fuel leak, no water leak. I think we're good. That tappy noise gets a bit louder if it just sits, which does lead me to believe there's an oil circulation problem. I don't care, I'm driving it tomorrow anyway. I've got CAA. What else can we do? Not a lot, not got a lot of time, but I think I'll give the wheels a bit of a clean. Not the whole wheel, of course, just the beauty rings. Unfortunately, I think I've kind of wrecked them because they are plastic, and once they lose that chrome sheen, I don't think you're getting that back, but I'll try some polish, you never know. Okay, there's a before and the after, and surprisingly most of that stuff came off. That looks pretty good for plastic chrome. Just got another 3 to do and get rid of the over smearing. Always happens. I need to use some, I don't know what to use to get that off, but it looks a bit silly, so I need to remove that, get the other 3 done, hopefully be a bit more careful, move on to something else. Whoever said you can't polish your turd obviously wasn't trying hard enough. They've come up rather nice. Still not managed to get that white splodge completely gone. I'm sure that will disappear as I drive it through puddles and dirt. Oh, shiny. Well, beauty rings are shiny. You know what, I think I'll put some air in the tyres. That looks a wee bit squishy down there. I'll just check them all. It will be quite a long drive, so take every precaution possible. Oh, talking of which, I'm going to make up a bit of a toolkit just in cases. Well, I think that's all I'm going to do. I don't want to start something that I can't finish. I need to take the car to the show tomorrow. So here's the plan. This is Wednesday, taking the car to the show tomorrow, Thursday obviously, to get set up and get the club stand all set up. And then the show is actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But because I'll be there tomorrow, late tomorrow, I will do a bit of a video and give you all a sneak peek of what to expect of the show. A bit of an advertisement for you all. And you can decide if you want to come along and see all the other normal show cars that will be there. Bugsy's ready. Hopefully he's mechanically sound and we'll get there in one piece. Doesn't matter if we get back as long as we get there. Thank you all for the support, and hopefully I'll see you at the weekend. Remember, free sticker if you mention the channel. Take care. See you soon.